Okay, so this is going to be AHGL B team play. This is week 4. Today's match is between IBM and Quora. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is going to be best of 5, and the players are preset in the beginning, so we've already got the matches determined for the first 4. If it's 2 and 2 after 4, then we'll go to the ace match, and the teams can send in anybody they want off their roster. So this first game is going to be played on Daybreak, and spawning in the lower left here we have the blue Zerg variant. He's going to be playing for Team IBM. In the upper right we have the red Terran NHK, who's going to be playing for Quora. So I was looking at the ranks beforehand, and it looks like NHK is a Masters player. So Variance is a Platinum player. He's a very solid Platinum player. He's definitely, if not the best, then one of the best players that we've got on the B team. So we'll see if he can hold his own against a Masters Terran player. This is Daybreak. This is generally considered a Zerg favored map, just because it's so easy, and it's very easy for the Zergs to take a lot of bases. So you've got your first base here. It's pretty easy to take your second, third, and then fourth bases right up along the left side of the map here. And you've still got a lot of distance between yourself and your opponent, which as a Zerg is what you want. You want to be very reactive, so if you see him pushing out, you've got plenty of time to build units. And then there's also a lot of areas for counterattack. The middle's pretty open for attack, so it's generally considered Zerg favored. So we've got NHK, our turn player here. He is opening up with a single Rax, no gas yet, so I would probably expect that Masters level Terran play. I think he'll probably go 1 Rax and then into a high ground command center, and then we'll see how he follows that up. A lot of Terran players that I've seen on ladder lately have been favoring mech play against Zergs. Mech is really strong with the Hellbat that they've added now. Pops up lots of Zerglings, so we'll see what NHK chooses to play. Variance is going to go ahead and take 15 hatch. I expect he'll probably get 2 more drones and follow that up with a 16 pool. That's pretty standard against Terran right now. Really the only way the Terran can punish that sort of build is if they do a bunker out or like some sort of 2 racks, but that's pretty unpopular from what I've seen. You don't really see any sort of bunker play in Heart of the Swarm anymore. Oh wow, he just barely gets that block, so he's denying Variance the scout there. Yeah, Variance can't get in. Really the only thing that Variance would want to check there is to see if there's gases that have gone down. Oh, that's nice. So Variance is going to save the drone by morphing to an extractor there. That's kind of a nice little pickup. You can check the gases. If you see that there's gas, then you can expect there's some kind of tech play coming. If you see there's no gas, you can expect that there's going to be an expand. And yeah, okay, there's the expand. Oh, he's actually doing a low ground expand, and I think Variance will be able to see that. That's kind of an interesting choice that you would build that on the low ground. Number 1, it's more vulnerable, and number 2, with that extractor right there, Variance sees that it's coming down. So Variance does the cancel and retakes the extractor. This is good. Forces the Marines to stay home. Now with 3 Marines here, they can out DPS the building extractor, so that'll be the end of the shenanigans there. And so Variance cancels that just to get a few minerals back. Double gas coming down for the Terran. So when you see this sort of 1 Rax and 2 expand, there's a couple of things that you can do as a Zerg. So the most common right now is to take a fairly quick third base. Not like 3 hatch opening style, against the Protoss where you take like a 4-minute third base. That's still kind of risky, just because a few Marines can punish that. But generally a fairly quick third base and just drone really, really heavily. You can go for some kind of bailing bus, some kind of 2-base tech play, but I feel like that's not really that popular. Variance was scouting around with a Ling here, but NHK does have that SCV tucked back there, so he'll be able to see the timing of that third base, which is going to be important for him. It'll give him an idea. If he doesn't see a third base coming down, so he's keeping an eye on that there, then he might start to expect some sort of bailing bus or some sort of 2-base play. Do have a Roach Horn coming down for Variance, so it's possible this is just for defense. I don't know if he saw the reactor. Yeah, he didn't see the reactor in the factory coming down here, so this does imply that there's going to be some sort of Widow Mine or Hellion pressure. And Roaches are really good at stopping the Hellions especially, so it might just be a safety Roach Horn. or it could be for him to get aggressive and try and put on some kind of pressure. And in fact, pressure would be really good because we've got this fast third command center coming down. So this is a pretty greedy build that we're seeing out of the Terran player here. Basically just getting that one bunker and then the wall off, relying on a couple of Hellions to apply pressure, and then trying to go very macro focused here. If he gets all three of these orbitals up and he doesn't die, he's got a huge advantage there because he can pump out a whole lot of SCVs. But this is his problem here, is now we've got 6 roaches on the field, 4 more building. And a 10 roach push against this 3 orbital opening is really, really strong. So there's 2 Hellions out on the field, 2 more coming. No spine crawlers down, doesn't look like any roaches at home, so there is a couple of queens here. Queen can hold off 2 Hellions just fine, but we'll see how this goes. So Variant sacks this Overlord in here. He does not see the 3rd orbital. As far as he knows, it's a 1-1-1 right now. Waiting for his roaches to mash up, and he's going to push up here. Oh, he's actually drawing the Hellions back. This is, oh, maybe not. Okay, they are going to push out there. He's going to say, oh, and he gets a couple shots. That's fairly critical, because now that one Hellion is basically dead in one hit from the Queen. He really needs to push up with these roaches here. NHK is responding by walling in this bunker here. He's pulling all the SCVs back to repair the bunker. I'd really like to see Variants trying just to run up into the main here. Oh, are these Widow Mines going to get burrowed? One of them gets burrowed and does a lot of splash to these roaches. Still doing okay. No burrow for the roaches. Yeah, this is what I'd like to see, because this bunker, I mean, especially if he really gets all them roaches up there, a lot of them will be out of range here. And he misses the repair on that. Yeah, you should get these roaches in now. This is really good. Yeah, this is perfect. I mean, that 3 orbital opening is really, really greedy, and this is exactly the thing that punishes it. If you go with some sort of roach pressure like that, you know, they're very vulnerable to that. So Variance is just rallying. He's got roaches and lings in the main now, and he's rallying 26 more lings. There is this Banshee that's about to pop. That's the only Banshee he's going to get because that tech lab's down. He's trying to focus down the starport because I think he knows what's coming here. And so that one Banshee will eventually be able to clean all this up, but the question will be how much damage is done by then. I mean, things are going to fall quickly here. So we'll see what Variants can take out here. It'd be nice to see him start to focus down the workers. There are some burrowed Widow Mines now. Lots of reinforcing lings. This is excellent. As long as he can stay away from those Widow Mines, if he can start to clean up these workers. There's 4 Hellions just sitting on the 3rd. No run in there. Yeah, Atomic Update is saying he needs to do some economic damage. It's 26 SCVs and 3 mules to just 23 drones. Variance is continuing to rally lings here. Mules are not even mining right now, so that's good. Oh, there we go. And now he's starting to get the workers down to just 16. 38 workers killed by Variance. I think Variance may have actually done this. This Terran player is in a world of trouble right now. He tried to play that very greedy opening, and he got punished for it a lot. This Banshee is doing work. 25 kills on this Banshee, but still not moving in with these Hellions either. Those are just sitting at the 3rd. He's obviously just trying to save his main as much as he can. So things finally getting cleaned up in the main. Still some lings in the natural. One Widow Mine goes off, taking out a bunch of those. Actually, this orbital is going to go down into the red here. He's going to need to pull some SCVs to repair that. Yeah, he should be fine. He'll be able to save that. Wow, so after all is said and done, 44 workers killed, and it is 32 drones to 15 SCVs. Now the thing is the Terran player still has 3 orbitals, so he can build SCVs 3 at a time, and he can drop tons of mules. So if we check the income tab, we can see that even after losing all of those workers, he's still ahead in income right now. He's still got these 4 Hellions in the field, so he can turn around and try and apply pressure, but with all these queens, yeah, Variance is setting up spores because he knows that the Banshees are a risk, and in fact the one Banshee's here. Yeah, this is an interesting game here. Supplies are equalized now. The worker count still shows Variance really far ahead, but you know the 3 orbitals and the mules will kind of negate some of that. So after all that, I mean, this is almost stabilized. That was a Masters level hold of that sort of attack. I mean, if that would have been me on the Terran side, that would have easily killed me. So Kudos to NHK for holding that and being alive at the end. Much lesser player would have GG'd. So Variance is going to follow us up with a Spire. I see that's building. Where is he putting it now? Okay, yeah, he's trying to tuck that Spire in the natural here. He's taking all of his gases, dropping the other ones, and he's going to try and follow us up with Mutas. It's probably a pretty good play since there's a lot of Banshees and Hellions on the field. You do have to watch out for these Widow Mines, though. Yeah, this Widow Mine is going to get buried at the third to deny it just in time. Very nice play there by NHK. Those Widow Mines are so annoying to deal with. And 6 Hellions on the map. He's bringing around a Viking, bringing around a Banshee, Widow Mine, Hellions. You know, there's very high APM map control here. Worker count should start to equalize with those 3 orbitals. You can see it's 45 to 38, 39 now at 3 mules. If we check the income tab, we can see that the Terran's actually still ahead. So, despite all that economic damage, Variance does need to continue expanding here. Here comes the Hellbats. They're not going to do too good against these queens, especially with the transfuses, and if they get back to creep, Variance should turn and focus down this one that's still weak from the early of the game. Yeah, Variance really needs to get this third base down. Oh no, that Widow Mine is recharged. Oh nice, okay, so he moves in with 2 wings just to draw the Widow Mine's fire, so that's very good. And then he really should move down with these roaches and queens too. Oh, look at that micro. He pulls the Widow Mine back to save it, and now Variance doesn't quite know. Yeah, he sees that it's there now. So Variance is really struggling to get this third base up. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for the Terran player, because with those 3 orbitals, he'll just continue to pull ahead. Got the drone in there, gets roasted, and these Hellbats, they're not going to be able to push up against these queens and spine crawlers, but they are just continuing to delay this third base, which is really good. 3 mutas are out. Do we have any more on the field here? Nope, just those 3 mutas. They won't do a whole lot. 4th orbital is coming down, and the turrets are coming down. I wonder, you can't quite see them, but maybe you can see them elsewhere. These Widow Mines are going up all over the place now, and those are just so annoying to deal with as a third player. So, no matter which exit he takes out of his base now, he's got to run over a Widow Mine, calling down a mule to repair that Banshee. Very nice play. Single Vikings trying to pick off these Overlords. I don't know if that's in this rally or... He's not like getting drops or anything, is he? Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing with these Overlords. 3 mutas on the field. Oh, 10 mutas now. He just built a few more. So he's going to try to get in here with mutas, but I mean at this point the Terran player knows they're coming. There's turrets all over the place, so the first Thor is out, so these mutas just aren't really going to do anything. Yeah, losing one immediately, the other one's into the red. The Muta buff that we've seen in Heart of the Swarm, they increased the regeneration rate by 4 times, and that actually makes mutas a lot more effective in Heart of the Swarm. Because you can go in for those pokes, and like this one right here that went in and attacked, you can see how quickly he's regenning his health. So I think if a muta goes down to 1 health, it's like 2 in-game minutes before they're back to full health again. And this is much different than Wings of Liberty, where if you accidentally flew over top of a Thor, you know, and your mutas got hit, you were screwed for the rest of the game. So Variance is trying to take advantage of that, trying to push with the mutas, but there's just so much air defense at this point, it's not going to work. NHK is going to take his 3rd and his 4th base at the same time. Variance is still trying to get his 3rd up here. He can take the top 4th. If he tries to take this pocket 4th, there's a Widow Mine buried there already, and he did pull back these Overlords. Check the worker count now, 60 drones to 58 SCVs, but we're seeing a huge supply lead out of NHK, 141 to 109. As a Zerg, you always want to be ahead in supply. And NHK is choosing to play mech here. He's getting this Thor Hellbat Siege Tank composition with just a little bit of air support. I know he had a couple of Vikings out on the map. And, yeah, what's he got? Oh, it looks like maybe the Vikings and the Banshees got cleaned up by the mutas. So all ground mech out of him right now. This is a very strong play, especially against, you know, right now there's just a few Roaches and a few Mutalisks on the map. So, I mean, in terms of army supply, we would just see... In a straight-up fight here, Variance will get ripped apart. This is what he does have, though, is the mobility. So he's trying to abuse this, get in here and deny this 3rd and deny the 4th. If he gets this orbital, that'll be a nice pickup. Yeah, he gets it down into the red, but I think it's going to get repaired, and he's got to get out of there. There's just too much anti-air now to deal with those Mutalisks. A couple of Roaches down there again, just waiting for a counterattack. And my HOTS graphics just freaked out for a second right there. Hopefully that's better. I have noticed a couple of times there's been some weird bugs with the graphics in Heart of the Swarm, so they work that out. Variance looks like maybe he's thinking about taking a 4th here, which he really needs to do. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse for Variance as time goes on here. You can see the supply, he's down 45 supply. This is a very strong mech composition here. +2 attack is going to be finished for this push, and there's just more mech coming out here. Variance is trying to get the Greater Spire, so this is good. Really, what you need to defeat a mech ball this big is Broodlords. Ultralisks, not so good, especially against this many Thors and tanks. It's not going to help. Mutaling and Fester, not going to help. You need Broodlords. I mean, really, that's the only way you can beat these. The Thor's anti-air just isn't that good. Even if they, well, I guess if they switch to this new high-impact thing they added, that might help. But you need good position. And this is terrible. I mean, now the Terran is maxed out. Variance has no Broodlords on the map. His entire standing army is 17 mutas and 10 roaches. He's panicking and trying to build roaches right now, which is about the best he can do, but I don't think he has drops. Another nice thing is if he can do drop play and drop the roaches directly on so that the Overlords absorb the initial Thor volleys, and then you don't have to worry about siege tank fire either. Yeah, this is really bad. I mean, even with all these spores here, I mean, with the spine crawlers here, these tanks can slowly poke away at these. Variance is going to try and come in from the back with the mutas, but again, Thors are just so good at shutting down the muta blocks. He's going to try and magic box over top here. He might get this first Thor. Okay, that's good. I don't think he's going to get the next 4, though. He does pick off 1 tank. He's going to get a 2nd tank, and he'll get out of there. So Variance, I mean, he's doing a nice job, what he can so far. He's trying to get the Corruptors out now to get Broodlords. He's got 5 Corruptors on the map. His Greater Spire is finished, and my graphics are freaking out there for some reason. Oh, it's this lighting down here. The lighting is causing, must be a bug. Alright, so we do have 4 Broodlords on the way. Spine crawlers are just about fallen. There's only 1 left here, and it's kind of in a bad position. AHGL is using duels to repair. We don't see any sort of counters or drops or anything anywhere on the map. So now AHGL is unsieged and pushing forward, so that's when Variance needs to run in with the roaches while the tanks are unsieged. Looks like he cleans up the majority of the Hellbat, so that's pretty nice. The first 4 Broodlords are out, but only 4 Broodlords is not really that much, and there's just no support here. And he's trying to run in Lings. Actually, it looks like he is going to hold for now. And very nice. The Lings and the Broodlings and the last few roaches are coming out, catching those last couple unsieged tanks and Thors. So Variance will clean up this first attack. But I think it still looks bad for Variance. I mean, worker count is 74 to 57 in favor of the Terran. Supply is 156 to 117 in favor of the Terran. The Terran is working on getting his 5th base, and Variance still has no saturation at his 4th. He is now starting his 5th. So, I mean, Variance is doing everything right here. He's picking good fights. His composition looks good. He's macroing the best he can. Looks like NHK is just always 1 step ahead here. NHK is very well dug in at this 4th base here. It looks like Variance is going to try and poke at it, but I mean, he's got to be real careful. If he loses these 4 Broodlords, he's in trouble. Yeah, he needs to get these Broodlords on the other side of these rocks real quick. 1 goes down. Oh, Vikings are here. Yeah, these Broodlords are all dead. He might be able to, yeah, he's going to say maybe leave those roaches there. Oh, okay, just running in with them is a terrible idea. This siege line's going to eat him up. Okay, so 1 bad fight for Variance now after a couple of good ones, and as you can see, he's really far behind now. The supply is 183 to 100. Getting an Ultralisk Cavern, I don't like this. Ultralisks are not very good against mech, and especially with his upgrades, his Ultralisks will be 0-0 against 3-3 mech. Tanks and Thors will just shred those 0-0 Ultralisks, so hopefully he was just building that Ultralisk Cavern to have the option, but I think he really needs to try and get back to a reasonable Broodlord count. Fortunately, he's only got 1 Corruptor on the map, and he just has no gas. He's at 250 on his gas. He's building Infestors. I mean, Variance's whole army right now is 13 roaches. He's got 4 Investors that are going to pop here, but Yeah, they're even saying no upgrades for variants. Yeah, this mech push is really strong here. I don't know if there's anything that variants is going to be able to do to stop this time. AHGL is expecting another wave of Broodlords, so he's ready with the Vikings this time. There are no Broodlords on the map, but I mean this is it. Just these roaches. Yeah, variants is building 5 Ultralisks, which maybe against the Vikings is reasonable, but against the rest of this ground mech that's all 3-3, they're just gonna shred these Vikings. Or, oh, I guess he's 3-1. Sorry, I was looking at the Thors and I saw the 3-3 air ground attack. So the mech is 3-1, but still, that's a lot of damage against Ultralisks. 5th base for variants doesn't have a chance here. That's going to melt pretty quick. And we'll see where NHK decides to go, if he's going to push up into the 4th or if he's just going to run into the natural. Looks like the scan, he likes what he sees in the natural, so he'll siege up at the edge of creep here. Variants is trying to set up the flank, maybe? Yeah, get some Ultralisks to run around and try and set up the pincher. So again, you know, good positioning here by variants. I'm not sure I like this composition. I would have preferred to see him stick with the Broodlords, although with this many Vikings, maybe the Ultralisks actually are the right choice. And here come the Hunter Seekers, taking out 2 of the 4 Infestors. That's the new Hunter Seeker where it highlights the unit in red. So you can see which one it's targeting. Hunter Seeker targeting the Ultralisk. That seems like bit of a waste, doesn't do a lot of damage, but I guess you gotta do something with them Ravens. Variants is coming in here, he does get a good flank, sets up the pincher very nice. We'll see if these Ultralisks are gonna be enough to clean up this mech. The 1-0 Ultralisks, and he does, he cleans them up. He's got 3 pretty weak Ultralisks and 1 that's still healthy. But this Raving Viking flock is a bit of a problem. He has nothing to hold this off. If all these Ravens land, yeah, and auto turrets go down, yeah, variants is trying to evacuate this 4th HK, but it is a planetary, so he's going to need to run out of there. Variants is losing his 4th. He's reinforcing with a bunch of Zerglings. Yeah, you can't attack into that planetary, especially with all the SCVs pulled to repair. NHK is trying to set up that late game Terran orbital farm so you can trade in all your SCVs and just use mules for mining minerals. Variants, actually, it looks like he is going to break this 4th base, at least temporarily. The SCVs are attacking the rocks. It's interesting. And Variants is morphing Banelings there. Variants has lost his 4th now. He's trying to rebuild his 5th, but the air army's going to pick that off. So when the smoke clears here, it's going to be 4-base Terran to a 3-base Zerg, but only one of those bases are mining for the Zerg player. He's in a lot of trouble there. The Zerg player is actually banking a lot of gas. He's got 2,500 gas now, so if he could get some Broodlords out, well, I take that back. There's enough Vikings here that Broodlords won't really matter. I don't know what Variants can do at this point. I mean, he's 100 supply behind, 110 supply behind. He's down 2 mining bases. Actually, this 5th has been retaken. Ravens are continuing to rip him apart here. Actually, he outran that Hunter Seeker. That was very nice. Last Ultra goes down. So nice Baneling hits on those SCVs. Workers killed is 70-35, so very aggressive game. Yeah, those orbitals are finishing up now. Atomic Update is pointing that out, so that late game started just rain down the mules instead of building SCVs. Variants is trying to stabilize on 3 bases now. He's got all of his workers over here. But he's just not in any good position to take another base. Turrets will be denying that 4th. Turrets are denying this 4th. He's going to go down and maybe try and take this base here, but this is a very exposed base. Even against a meching Terran, I mean, you are not far at all from them. It looks like Variants is going to poke in here with these roaches, try and pick off this base again. I like this, getting this around here in the tank. Terran is recalling the air army. He does have some more Thors that are coming down to support here as well. There are a few tanks somewhere on the map, but just lots of damage being done to these roaches. I don't think he's going to get this orbital. Variants is still 1-1 compared to the 3-2 of the mech. First battlecruiser out, and Variants calls it there. 130 supply and 2 mining bases down. He knows he can't win that. Alright, so congratulations to Quora taking game 1.